Hello guys.
Hey everyone, sorry for the delay again. This was supposed to be yesterday, but that didn't happen. But don't worry about it. Hey everyone, we're here now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but hey, hello everyone again. Welcome to the round of 16 pool showcase. Just because we already had a few questions in Discord, every team will still be playing this pool. No one will be left behind the old one. Everyone will be on this pool. So no eliminations going into this round, but there will be a few entering our quarterfinals. But just for clarity's sake, everybody will be playing this pool, and it mostly has the same structure. It's still best of 9, one ban. So best of 9, first to 5, with the believe the exact same map pool size. Yeah, it's the exact same size. So no differences there. But yeah, let's just get right into it. We've already delayed enough, I think.
Yep.
You guys are not ready for this.
Nomad 1.
Yeah, we'll jump into Nomad 1 already. This is Yudachi no Ribbon by Kano. Daily Care once again back for another difficulty, not a custom, but they're back for another difficulty. This is a ranked map. But I feel like besides your standard aim, there's one thing you guys should notice is that BPM of 230. This is a high BPM aim map. A little bit non-standard. I don't want to say non-standard because it's not that weird of a pick. But yeah, this is just a very standard high BPM consistency pick. It's 3 minutes. They're almost 3.5 minutes of 230 BPM jumps. Not so out of the ordinary, but it's also not farm. So a little bit of less standard angles, but still mostly follows the the acute angle comfortability that every player should be mostly familiar with. It's just a matter of, will this be the single tap gap of not being able to single tap 230, or maybe there's some alternating uncomfortability. But yeah, nothing too crazy about this map.
Yeah, I feel like probably some of the more aim-sided players will probably have an easier time, even though it's 230 BPM. And I feel like,
yeah, for those of you farmers, yeah, it's not too out of the ordinary.
I feel like it's kind of simple Nomad 1 compared to the other suggestions we had.
Yeah, a lot of the suggestions for finding high BPM aim, this is actually one of the targets we were going for our Nomad 1 slot. A lot of suggestions were so inflated on star rating because there was always just notes to notes to notes, like back to back, and that terribly inflates the star rating without actually adding too much diversity in spacing and stuff like that. So maybe there's a little less notes of tapping, but the aim differs quite a lot. So there are different spacings and different distance tappings you should be comfortable with to hit every part of this map. But for the most part, it's pretty standard. There are a few diff spike-ish patterns. But if you're paying attention to the song or at least have gotten a few runs on this, you'll know where they are. They weren't exactly designed to trip anybody up or be absolutely impossible. So
I feel like the drain time of this map is pretty long compared to the rest of the pool, I think. I mean, it's not
this is one of the longer maps. Yeah, it's one of the 3 longer ones.
I feel like there are many shit miss potentials, but that's kind of normal for Nomad 1s. If you look at it that way.
Ultimately, I still think that this is the guess when I'll miss pick of the pool. Aniku, you're late. You are late. Yeah, this song is also super, super good. I think it's one of the better songs in our suggestions list. So, all the more reason to pool it. But yeah, this is the final chorus or TI of the section of the map. And the spacing does start to take up a little bit with some longer patterns.
Yeah, and again, like last round, Chaos Emperor again with the first replay.
I think it's another 1/100. It's a little bit unfortunate there, but yeah, thank you again, Chaos Emperor, for another replay. He has a few of those this time around. Oh, 3/100. Oops.
Okay.
But yeah, that is No Mod 1 onto a quite long No Mod 2, to be honest.
Yeah.
So if you guys were following our previous trends, by that previous trend, I mean literally one round. Since you guys have not seen the future pools or don't know the structure of those, we have opted for yet again
It doesn't work
a stamina
again.
pick.
I need to re-download it.
Oh my god.
It's probably the only map I don't have
Interesting.
downloaded from it.
But for those of you who saw that title, oh, where's the replay?
There we go. It's fucked
Yeah,
again.
this is Homo Sum by Decapitated. For those of you in the like metal, heavy metal, here's your heavy metal quota. But it is also to mention last No Mod 1 or last No Mod 2, sorry. It is 216 BPM. Now it is a little bit of a stamina / speed pick, something you would probably see in a No Mod 5. But other than just being, you know, the standard like 7-9-ish bursts stamina pick is not ultimately that special. I mean, if you guys can play the BPM like other speed picks, this shouldn't be any kind of different for you playability wise. Even all the stat lines are relatively comfortable. AR9, OD8. But it is just, you know, 4 minutes of stamina. True stamina testing, unlike last one, where it was a little bit, you had a little bit of flow testing and a big break. That doesn't happen in this map, so a little bit more unrelenting on your tapping. Definitely can get tired on this sort of pick, especially if 216 is on the higher end of your tapping comfortability. This is what you get to tell me to shut up. More speed in No Mod 2.
I feel like still compared to the last number 2, it's more simple structured. Not that many rhythm changes.
Yeah, we heard you guys complaints about the buzz sliders in No Mod 2 because they're mapped slightly longer than you'd expect. So this is more like a general tapping oriented focus. A lot of 7 bursts, a lot of 9 bursts. And there's a few sections of a little bit of finger control that are more standard stamina draining than the rest of the map. But other than that, it's a really simple structured map to a metal song. And with these kind of, like, you know, the heavy metal songs, they're not exactly like super, they don't exactly have super differing structures or rhythms. It's a lot of shredding, so this is, I guess you could say this is like your shred map of the pool, even though we have yet to talk about the rest of the maps. But yeah, also to balance off the last round, we had also opted to turn down the difficulty gap between the speed pick and the rest of the pool. Even though speed is super freaking overrated, and this should honestly be a 5.5 star in this slot. Nobody agrees with me, so we've opted to turn down the difficulty just a little bit, and we were looking at, I think, a 5.3 in this slot. So nothing too finger controlling, no like buzz slider spam to get messed up on if you mess up your finger control timing. But yeah, this map is also hella long. This is the first break after 3.5 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, not much else to say. Do you have anything else to say, Laika?
Not really.
Pretty straightforward map.
Yeah. I mean, it's mostly the same patterns. It's just his stamina part, which can hurt some people in their matches, probably.
Yeah, those of you trying to strategize, if you want to go into this map, maybe picking it towards the start of your matches, as you could be pretty drained if your match drags on. And with a map like this, where consistency is all that matters, really, you don't really want to find any of those, like, you know, dumb slider breaks or mistap any of the bursts here. Because 216 is still nothing to scoff at. Not exactly a true speed pick, where we're like hitting that 220 mark, but it's still definitely up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Nomad 2. Your stamina pick of the pool, once again. And let's move on to Nomad 3.
Let me just change scenes real quick if the replay still doesn't work.
Replay system broke.
It works. Okay.
Let's go. And thank you, Doe, again for that replay. And on to Nomad 3. We have, and actually, this is an OWC diff. This wasn't made for OWC, but this is one they used, and it was ultimately turned into a rank set. This is The Creator by Yosei Teikoku, for those of you who have maybe played some other maps by this artist in this band. This is a pretty generic flow alt, sitting at a reasonably comfortable 140, and it says 280, but it's not mapped to any of the bursts like that previous DT3 that you guys had. It's basically just a 140 flow alt. Nothing too out of the ordinary, but yeah, opting for a more standard Nomad 3 alt-ish map compared to the last map, which is basically swing. So for those of you who last pool expected a normal Nomad 3 and got jump scared by a double swing map, this one will probably be more up your alley for those of you alt players. But yeah, most of the difficulty does come from the flow. There are a few jump sections, which should be relatively easy for most players. It's only 140 BPM jumps. Most of the difficulty comes from the flow and there's a few cut streams ish. There's a few flow changes, and then also that generic like alti finger control where you have to know between like 2s and 3s and etc. But yeah, also one of our longer picks of the pool. If you've already seen, the Nomad pool has already been quite long with 2 3-minute maps and a 4-minute. Don't worry about that. You can just call them consistent picks, if you will. Yeah, this song's also super, super good.
Yeah, also one of the longer maps. We have now seen 3 kinda long maps. Nomad 2 with an extended length because of the stamina part. But yeah, it's again 3 minutes 40 of drain time. I feel like this map is for the players who, as you already said, are kinda surprised by the Nomad 3 from last round, but they will have a better time this time.
Sure, there are still some parts where you should be practicing, like that 1/3 burst you saw just there. I feel like it's still really well mapped for you to understand, especially with the color changing in the burst. Or the combo changing rather. But still not something to scoff at. Can still definitely trip you up if you're not ready for it. But other than that, the map plays pretty simply with a little bit of sliders, a little bit of alting, mainly flow aim. But yeah, once again, Chaos Emperor with another replay on the no mod pool. We'll definitely see more of him around as we get into the higher star ratings of the pool. But still putting up a fantastic score on this no mod 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a flow alt, AG Moscow flow alt. Nothing too out of the ordinary there yet. I say yet. But yeah, thank you again, Chaos Emperor,
Yet.
for that replay. Really great score. Let's move on to a no mod 4 of all time.
It is. It one works and the other doesn't.
Oh, GG.
Let me just. Sometimes I hate Dynamic Client.
GG.
Okay.
Oh, DM Emiko Nins in chat. But yeah, we're back after that, you know, little bit of a hiccup. This is changed by Kafu, or featuring Kafu by Giga. For those of you who follow a lot of Vocaloid, you'll absolutely know the name Giga. Super famous producer, doing this kind of like hyperpop style. But this is a sort of swing tech map, so still mainly the focus on the slider tech here, the slider aim. But also incorporating some of those like the swing rhythms, the finger control in swing. A few normal like 1/4 bursts because it's a swing map, so it's mapped to 1/3. So there's a few fourth bursts that you should be aware of at the start of the map, and those definitely show themselves later. But we're back to the the swing-ish slider aim. There's a little bit of swing rhythms that you should be comfortable with, or you might drop a few hundreds on the two notes there, one going into a slider. But the main focus is that slider aim with the slider tech. So if you guys like swing, no mod 3 last time, a little bit more straightforward with the rhythms compared to the last one, which is like more of a jazz swing focus. This one is much more straightforward, and most of the swing rhythms follow the same 1/6 note before the slider. So besides that, yeah, lots of rhythm changes. Also, still mainly to focus on the slider aim as well as a little bit of the swing figure control there.
Also, a very low drain time this at this no mod 4. I feel like many no mod 4s are a bit longer than that. But I think the structure of the map works against the drain time. Especially with these swing sliders.
Yeah. Definitely some maps you can get more practice on though. There are a few sections like with all the perfect overlaps. Like just after the chorus, like into the bridge. Or not the bridge, the outro, sorry. So there's a little bit of few practice sections as well as a site recheck towards the end of the map right here. This is the main site recheck, the back and forths. But outside of that, just getting some practice on some of these sliders and the way they behave will definitely benefit your scores on this map. But yeah, thank you again, Lifewater, for that replay. And let's move on to the No Mod 5.
Okay. Just check again if it works this time. So no mod 5. It does. Alright, it does.
All right, No Mod 5. For those of you who have played a few tournaments in the past, maybe a couple years, and if you're one of those persons, I say rank up But anyway, this is a reading map of all time, I have to say. And this is Chocobo, for those of you who know. Knows who knows. Basically a stacked reading map. That's been used quite a few times in a couple of tournaments. But we found it fits the pool best for trying to find the stacked reading map of the pool. So no precision like last time. Obviously can't reuse that for continuity's sake. But don't count it out of the fight just yet. But yeah, it's Chocobo. What else can I say?
Not really that much to say. I mean, again,
A little bit of symmetry, yeah, a little bit of awkward aim. Everything pretty standard in a reading map.
also some perfect stakes.
For sure. Chaos Emperor with a little bit of a cursor dance in the break here. But yeah, mostly just there's a little bit of that flow aim if you're not so comfortable on that. Most people would just snap to these notes. And some of the spacing is a little bit deceptive with the pauses in the lyrics. So that will catch a lot of people off guard if they're not that familiar with reading on this AR7 here. So definitely we'll take a few practices from a lot of our players here.
Also kind of a side read hard map. And I feel like, as some people already said, that they will mostly side read this pool. I think as far as I can see, many people will have a problem with that, especially the reading players, if they don't know the map.
Yeah, stack reading only serves to hurt those side read players, but yeah. Thank you again, Chaos Emperor. Replay number 3 here. And that will round out our Nomad pool. Let's move on to the hidden one.
Little black screen, jump scare. Okay. Oh, you guys don't? Oh.
GG. Restart showcase is bad.
I think it
You gotta
works
play out
now.
this whole banger. But yeah, other than that, for people who have gotten practice on this map as it was released with the map set in its entirety, yeah, this is the practice pick, one of the major practice picks of the pool. For a tech pick strictly, it's a little bit high, especially with the sliders that you'll see at the end here. For those of you who know this map, it should be everyone. Some of the sliders are a little bit hard to trick or hard to hit here.
And the slow slider.
But to comment on those, because the map is so short, it's honestly a gamble pick towards the end, whether you want to aim these sliders or just cheese them and drop, you know, like 100,000-ish points, or risk it to actually aim these sliders and try to hit the slider ends, but ultimately risking more slider breaks, especially on this hidden mod. But yeah, this is the rhythm-ish gimmick tech pick. Whatever you can call the song itself as a gimmick, up to you. But yeah, whoever aims these sliders is Giga Chad. And speaking of Giga Chad, Ichinami, one of the leader poolers of the tournament here, sniping that score. So thank you again, Ichinami, for that replay there. 3 100s on Pauling. Yeah, that is insane accuracy. Wow.
Okay.
But yeah, let's move on to hidden 2. Those sliders actually don't go perfectly back, so if you're not close enough, you'll drop 100 on them. A little bit stabbing, but yeah, for those of you who've been here a while again, um, it's Bubble Tea by Dark Cat featuring Dew and Cinders. So another pretty well-known map for the reading skill set, especially. Um, this one has a little bit more of an aim focus for the CS3, so there's a little bit of wider jumps in there. Um, it's a little bit of awkward aim and also the reading aspect. But ultimately, the main focus is this reading here, especially with a few rhythm changes and these really hard to see slow sliders. For those of you who may be rocking, a little bit of a skin harder to see those slider ends. But yeah, pretty generic reading pick. Also pretty short on the map length. Just over 2 minutes here. But yeah, it's Bubble Tea. What can I say?
It's a very simple reading map, especially for those reading players. I mean, many people that don't really are that kind of hidden or reading mains will probably should miss a ton on some of these back and forth patterns.
Yeah, not to mention the rhythm changes in some of the slower sections, like these really slow sliders, and where the snap aim really picks up, especially if you don't understand the rhythms that well. The aim just gets a lot harder in those sections. But other than that, plays really simply for the hidden players and the reading players of the teams. And a little bit of a slow outro here, but yeah, Chaos Emperor once again. Another replay here. Didn't end up taking the hidden one replay because Ichinami was insistent on getting the highest score on that.
Also, sadly, a 1/100.
Yeah, a little bit of an unfortunate 100 there. But yeah, here's your hidden 2 reading aim-ish pick. Not exactly aim, but there's still aim to miss on, so definitely be aware of that. Yeah, thank you again, Chaos Emperor, for that replay.
Okay.
And on to our Hard Rock pool. We have here, this is Mugen no Hikari by Terra. Koari's diff on a ranked set. And for those of you looking at that 170 BPM, you might think it's mechanics, but not quite. So if you're wondering what happened to that hidden 1 awkward aim, I take the hidden 1 and I put it in Hard Rock.
It's as simple as that.
It's as simple as that, guys. But yeah, this is the more traditional awkward aim pick of the pool. A little bit different from the round of 32 hidden one, where there's a lot of space changing and snap aim. The main focus of this map is like the wide angle type of aim. There are a few overlaps where you can miss on, especially if you're not comfortable reading AR10. But again, the main focus is like the wide angle aim. But yeah, plays out pretty simply here. Just 3 minutes of wide aim. Some spacing changes that are somewhat similar to like the No Mod 1 here, but not so drastic like that hidden 1 in round of 32.
Yeah, also again, compared to the hidden picks, it's a very drain time heavy map with close to 4 minutes. Like, some people will not have the best time playing these kind of maps for that long. I mean, as myself,
definitely a bit on the longer side. Even though it does say that 350 length, it's actually only just over 3 minutes of drain. So the breaks are there, but they can also not only give you a rest there, but can also catch you off guard with the next note because this is AR10. So there might be a little bit of practice needed to understand where those first notes happen. One sec, I need to respond to an email real quickly.
But yeah, I feel like as myself as an hard rock player, this map so far looks kinda okay to play. And I feel like many of the hard rock mains in this tournament will also have an easier time compared to the ones who don't really play the skill set that often, as it's very hard to egg, which I can tell from my replay I have on it. But yeah. Not really that much to say. Besides that, it's the... I don't know if it's the first replay from Mega Hamburger, but again, we appreciate everyone who competes in the replay war when Chaos Emperor sends all of his replays in. Yeah.
I returned. All the map's done. Thanks, Mega Hamburger, for the replay.
And now, come to a map which...
Yeah, who was that? Faith? Remember you said this is an OWC pool?
Yeah, I think so.
Just show the map. Just show the map.
Okay. It's... I hate my life. Again! It's fucked up again! It's fucked up again. It's always the OWC maps.
Yeah. For those of you who saw that map cover and have been watching OWC 2025, especially the group stages, it's fucking Chocolate Disco by Vesper Bell.
I feel like...
Hooray! Our pool has been saved, guys. But yeah, this is the precision pick. A little bit of a precision alt pick to differ from last round's aim focus. But yeah, it's just basically a precision alt. Obviously, there are the characteristics of this being originally a reading map, so a little bit lower on the approach rate. This is AR 9.8, but still OD10. And then there are, like, you know, the reading patterns that would be normally uncomfortable on AR7, but are a little bit more readable on this AR 9.8. But the structure itself is definitely reading map-like. So there are a few parts to practice, especially going into the choruses of them just saying Chocolate Disco over and over.
Yeah.
But after a few runs, if you understand literally the only two patterns in the entire map, there's only two of them, you can definitely score really well on this. Although I do feel like accuracy will definitely be a problem for these players, especially with precision alt.
So kinda hard to egg, especially when in the main part of the map, so mostly in the KIs. It's very hard to hold your accuracy if you aren't really prepared.
But yeah, for those of you who want to sing along with this song, you probably know the lyrics already. Maybe not the verse sections, but I have no words. The fact that this map actually fit exactly what we are looking for is honestly insane.
I feel like compared to last round, this map explodes in difficulty, but as already some people might noticed, the pool is kinda alt heavy, especially in the no mods and this map. So
yeah, a little bit of the higher BPM side for most of the players who don't single tap everything.
yeah,
But I alternate everything, therefore everything is an alt pool. But yeah, a little bit of reading sections to trip some players up who don't practice this map, but otherwise it's chocolate disco. But yeah, thank you Lifewater for the replay there. And let's move on to DT, our DT pool.
it doesn't work again. I hate my wow, Tournament Clyde trolls me today. That's insane.
Is that Jay Sean? Holy crap!
Radio R music.
Those of you who tuned into radio sometime the past 10 years, you'll have heard this song before. It's Down by Jay Sean featuring Lil Wayne. This is basically a nostalgic pick. If you look at the map ID, you'll notice it's not an old map. But if you look at the mapping style, where the main focus is the symmetry here, it's much harder than a standard DT aim pick. But yeah, it's old aim at DT. Not much else to say about it. Definitely some fun symmetry patterns here. That look really nice to hit, especially on stream. But other than that, main focus is that sort of awkward-ish old aim. Lots of linear patterns, lots of symmetry. A little bit on the lower BPM side, actually, because we have that no mod 1 sitting at 230 BPM. This is a little bit low of a BPM for a DT map. It's only at just over 200, no, just under 200 at 198. Other than that, it is just like sort of like a nostalgic aim pick. And the song also, I guess, plays a little bit into that with this being a more 2010 song. Those who knows.
Yeah.
But yeah, stat line's a little bit weird on this map because of the way it's structured here. You notice that the CS3, as well as AR 9.9, and 9.9 is usually not that common. It's usually either 9.7 or 10 and above. So almost there to that standard 10 plus, but from the feedback we get from the qualifiers, we've decided to move away from that for now in these easier pools. Easier, quote unquote, I say that. But yeah, also a little bit on the shorter side here, 2 minutes and 15 of drain. And with the wider circles, it should help to ease the aim or ease the gap between these notes because of how awkward this aim is. But yeah, some symmetry patterns here look really fun. Will catch people off guard expecting a more standard acute angle thing with all the linear aim patterns and the back and forth as well. But yeah. Baby, don't worry.
But yeah.
Yeah, banger song here. Thank you again, Vaniku, our DT merchant.
Let's see.
Let's move on to DT2.
Yeah, let's see if a tournament client trolls me on, in my opinion, maybe even the best map of the pool. It trolls me again. Okay.
DT1 was OD 9.5. So also a little bit on the higher side because it's an old style-ish map. Oh, they heard the song, guys. For those of you who played CVT, you'll know this song. It's the Backwards Pumpkin, a quantum vortex speed map. This is actually ranked, I believe. Yeah, this is a ranked song. There's a few discs that are pretty common in the DT2 slot, but it is mainly the focus of the 230 speed here. Emikunin, I said this belonged in quals, and everyone said it was too easy. So, for
Maybe.
once, it's not my fault. But yeah, this is mainly focused on the 230 speed. It's not just your standard 3 bursts or the triples and stuff like that. There's a few patterns in there that are definitely more stamina intensive than the others. A lot of 5s. And I believe towards the end of the map there are a few 7s. But yeah, mainly focused on that 230-ish finger control. Not exactly like a finger control pick like maybe alting. It's mostly odd number bursts, so not too out of the ordinary in regards to speed, but definitely on the stamina draining side for speed picks.
I feel like the speed...
This map actually is pretty double tappable, yeah. You still definitely have to know where they are, but it is double tappable.
I feel like the speed players eating well this week, especially after a long number 2.
Yeah, definitely. I think Nomad 2 was probably one of the more double tappable picks of the pool, but I mean, Hall Effect has already ruined all of our lives in regards to finding these speed picks that balance everyone out. We know not everybody has Hall Effects, but even then, it's just such an advantage. It just really changes the way we look at speed picks and like how they're structured. But even with the 2 picks here that are mostly double tappable, I would argue. We mostly try not to look at that, especially because double tapping still takes some skill, especially in maps like these where they have like those overlaps on something that's not mapped to the 16th notes. You will break on those, so you definitely know when and where you can double tap. And ultimately, it's still double tapping it's still single tapping at like 115-ish BPM, so it's still really stamina draining. So ultimately not a huge deal in regards to testing stamina at least, but for speed it is definitely choosable. But yeah, otherwise really normal stat line here. AR 9.7, OD 9.1. I feel like most speed players will be really comfortable on this pick.
Hey.
But yeah, thank you again, Vaniku, for DT2 replay. And on to DT3.
Just look at if Bancho trolls me again, so you guys don't.
Bancho is going to troll you again.
Okay.
Yeah, 99 accurate.
We just look it up. No, it doesn't troll me. Alright. Bancho or more the tournament client worked the first time.
But yeah, we got Breath of Life here by Aimi, featuring Aitsuki Naku. I feel like I see those two a lot together. But for those of you who like Aitsuki Naku, you got another map sung by her. But this is basically your basic DT3 finger control. Nothing too out of the ordinary. We couldn't opt to do a DT alt like the last pool because of the way Nomad 3, 4, and Hard Rock 2 were structured. So we had to avoid that. So we're going to the more finger control picks since we haven't really tested that yet in regards to like the in regards to like the doubles and triples finger control. But I mean overall it is basically a finger control pick.
I think especially next few maps will excite more players to play the pool. Especially for Free Mod 2 and the gimmick players. But yeah, DT3, it's not really a change, it works mostly like every other DT3 you will see in other tournaments.
And definitely more leading into that DTV pick with like the finger control and stuff. Could not opt to do anything else with this slot because we had alt in the previous round and then all of our tech picks were just way too freaking hard. So those have been postponed for later. I can't comment too much on those, but just know that for those of you who want those like non-standard HGT maps, we do hear you, and we are looking to find their good spots for those. But yeah, we have opted to go a little bit more on the mechanics side, especially for this DT pick, and with DT1 being a little bit more gimmicky in terms of structure. Being that old style-ish map, we just opted to focus on the mechanics here with this DT pool, and opted with some 200 BPM finger control. And I will say this map is pretty flow aim heavy.
Yeah. Especially with the pretty large circle size of 3.
Yeah, pool bad. Where's my CS9 DT3?
Okay.
But yeah. Thank you again, our DT merchant here, for another DT replay. And let's go to our free mod pool now. Just rounding out the last 3 maps in the pool showcase.
Probably troll me again, but it's a replay from someone who hasn't submitted that much. But it's the best on Free Mod 1, so...
Wow. Vocaloid quota definitely met this time around.
Played by Nikva. One of our...
Nikva has joined our showcase.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like
But yeah, this is White Prism. For those of you who know this map, there is a love version that is definitely very like aim control heavy, in terms of like 170 BPM streams. But this is basically the mechanics map of the pool and free mod. So a little bit higher actually for a free mod map that you would normally see. This is a 5-star before any kind of difficulty increasing mods. I believe it's a 5.3 on Hard Rock and a 5.2 on Hidden. But this structure of the map plays very, very simply. It's mostly focused on the burst and a little bit of aim. If you don't know the song that well, there are a few doubles in the piano of the map that will definitely trip you up here. But the focus of this map was the burst control here. So finger control, you can argue it if you will. But it's more of like a team mechanics pick. The idea of this pick originally was to be sort of like a team mechanics pick where you would have a very, very straightforward consistency map that was picked to the star rating. So in this case, we had a 5.2 burst map. So you would have a little bit of flow aim on present on taking the hidden, and a little bit of a skill cap for the hard rock player. But I think too many of our testers just found that to be a little bit uncomfortable for the early stages here, at least. So we have moved that idea to a different pool for now. We'll see whether or not that ends up sticking in the weeks to come. So, but we have turned down the difficulty just a little bit. So it is still a little bit of skill cap for Hard Rock, being at 5.3. So it'll be at least strategically interesting to see who you want to put on that Hard Rock and who has to play just a harder map, a harder version of the map compared to everybody else. But even on Hidden, a little bit of flow control, a little bit of back and forth flow actually to definitely catch people off guard. And then obviously Easy has the really high density of this map. being a more tapping focused map with a lot of more nodes close together. But to someone who said, can I play no mod? Yes, you can play no mod. Every team just needs a hard rock combo, a hidden combo with no hard rock, or easy, and then third player can flex. Or you can replace either of those modded slots with a flashlight player. So for those of you flashlight players there and want to learn this map, I think this is definitely one of the more learnable ones in the pool. The only problem being the aim being a lot farther than probably expected at least. But yeah, for those of you wondering, this is a hard rock replay, so I mean the stats aren't broken right now because I don't know what they fixed. But the stat line you see at the bottom of your screen there is correct. This is CS 3.8 AR9 OD8. After hard rock, it is CS 4.9 OD10 AR10. But yeah, nothing else to say besides hit those bursts. Veniku has put I don't know if that's a real bounty he's put in chat, but 1 month bounty to anyone who does 3 flashlight in match and gets more than $1 million.
It's not a drill.
Oh, it is not a drill. Yeah, so that bounty I guess is live.
Probably
want
need
to post
to
an announcement about that later.
Put it out as an announcement.
Definitely. But yeah, it's a White Prism. Another Hatsune Miku pick. And thank you again, Nikva, for that replay. Welcome to the showcases. And let's go round out our free mod 2.
An SS by Chaos Emperor with the
On
easy mod.
This is an easy FC. Yeah, this is Marie Antoinette by Marguerite Dupré. This is sort of a high-ish BP aim check anti-mod. So we have opted for a normal anti-mod this time as we don't have another precision pick elsewhere. And obviously had to lean towards the aim side of things, especially with Hard Rock 2 being alt. But the main focus of this map is sort of like the flow aim here. And there's a little bit of back and forth patterns to trip up the modded players here. But most of the focus is the almost low-ish. It's not exactly alt, it's only 200 BPM. So you can alt it or not. But most of the focus is the sort of the flow control between some of the nodes. So it's a little bit of awkward aim there with the flow, and obviously you have some spacing changes with the wider sections of the map. But yeah, low BPM-ish flow aim. It's not alt, but I wouldn't be too surprised to see some people alt this. Outside of standard anti-mod, nothing behaves too weirdly. I mean, the stat line's mostly the same. CS5, AR8. Yeah, you obviously can't see too much of the map since this is an easy replay. But something I think you guys still notice anyway is how slow some of these, they look like streams because it's on easy, but it's really just 100 BPM tapping.
Many people will probably single tap these
I think this is single tappable, but it would still be pretty stamina draining.
Yeah.
And obviously a little bit low BPM for those of you normal alt players who are maybe testing their skill cap on the alt maps. This is much lower than the alt BPM range of the 120 to 150 BPM range.
Okay.
But yeah, that'll be free mod 2. Thank you again, Chaos Emperor, with the SS on easy.
Okay. Just check
and
if Bancho's trolling me.
TB time.
And then it's TB time. Because I want people to enjoy this one. It's eternity by you.
Holy shit. We had an absolute banger of a song here. Eternity by You. Made for, I believe, the Mania World Cup, was it? No, it's Catch World Cup, sorry. It's the Catch World Cup Grand Finals. Recently used and restructured by the OWC team to be used in their round of 16. But yeah, an absolute banger of a song. I might just be quiet for most of the time here. You guys just have to listen to this song if you somehow haven't heard of this already. Actually, I do want to comment really briefly. For those of you who are playing in DreamScum's Battle Royale, I believe this is the tiebreaker for the first round. There's a little bit of a pooling staff overlap between the two teams here, or the two staff teams at least. We had not known that this would be used until the pool was already finalized. So for those of you playing DreamScums and wondering for at least a new tiebreaker, at least, sorry, that didn't happen. At least you get to play a map you've probably already practiced before. But yeah, it's a Saiyajin's dipped on a pending set, I believe, for ranked at least. There's a few versions of this song going out for ranked, but most of them are really, really hard. So, like most of them I think are like 7-star and above, like high ranked tiebreakers. So not playable, but Saiyajin has graced us with a more playable version of this map, but still a lot of focus on like the flow aim and the tech here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is Eternity by you. Thank you again, Chaos Emperor, for that great score here. And that will round out our round of 16 pool showcase. You did it, guys. But thank you again, Laika, for hosting this and commentating alongside me. Thank you, chat, for tuning in to this sort of delayed stream. We hope that won't harm your experience too much. But once again, you'll always hear this from me every single time. But if you have anything and everything to say about pools, previous pools, or this current one, or anything about the maps you want to talk about, drop your feedback in the Mappool feedback channel. We'd love to hear it. We'd love to talk to you about it. Most of the team is really passionate about trying the new things, and especially with this sort of new pool structure that we're experimenting with. We'd love to hear what you guys think about all the maps and stuff like that. But yeah, put your constructive feedback in the Mappool feedback channel, or just DM me or Ichinami. We'd love to talk to you about it. But yeah, that's gonna round out our showcase. Laika, and you have any final words before we depart here?
Yeah, thank you everyone for watching this kinda scuffed pool release, as my sleep schedule and my math lesson yesterday in the Discord call catched me up pretty bad. And yes, thank you all for watching, and good luck with this pool. Please practice some of these maps. We'll see us.
Yeah, definitely a lot to practice. Yeah, a lot of practice picks here.
Yeah, you will see us once the show match stream happens, which will probably be either Friday or Thursday, depending on a time. So, thank you again, and I hope you guys have a great time today.
Bye, guys. We'll see you later or this weekend for your matches. This time I'll be here.
Yeah, hopefully. Bye, guys.
Nah, I already planned on it. All right, bye, guys.